those are now, you don't need to load the data weekly once because no transaction, new transactions are happening weekly once. Actually, you don't know when the new transaction will happen. Okay, means what? You need to load the only historical transaction information only into the data warehouse, no? Okay, when some transactions happen, you need to load that history into the data warehouse. But when you are expecting daily transactions or weekly transaction, monthly transaction, then according to that you can schedule the package, okay, when to load or when to run the package. Whatever the package you created to load from it, OLTP to OLAP, ETL package. But there are some dimension table, those transactions not going to happen regularly and you don't know when those transactions are going to happen. Then what you're going to do? When you're going to schedule the package? Trigger means what? I'm not inserting any, I'm not doing any events on data warehouse. You are forgetting the basics. Are you inserting any data into the data warehouse? Then when you want the trigger to fire? Are you updating any data in data warehouse? Are you deleting any data into the data warehouse? But when you want to trigger to fire? Okay, you're not going to insert any data. You're loading the existing information from the OLTP system to OLAP system. Okay, now, yes, if you're talking about the trigger, but when the trigger should fire? Anybody knows? I'll tell you one example. Okay, like there is a customer information is there and there is a customer dimension is there. What is the difference between customer information and customer table and customer dimension? Almost same. But are you going to load the same customer's information daily once? What will happen? What will happen? You are just repeating the same customer's information. You are just repeating the same customer's information. But once in a while, you are keep on adding the customers. Monthly or quarterly or half-yearly, that you are keep on adding the new customers. Then means what? When you are going to add the new customers into the dimension table? Schedule means what? Whenever the new customer is joining into the company, then you want to run the package. Means what? You need to have one person ready for whenever the customer is joining, you want to run the package. What do you want to do? All the packages are running scheduled weekly once. But this package, you don't know when to schedule because the dimension table doesn't have the newly added data. Then what you are going to do in this situation? Okay, when the dimension table is not having the regular changes, okay, or it is not loading with the new transactions regularly, that kind of a dimension table we can call it as slowly changing dimension. Means what? The dimension table is changing slowly. Then the regular speed means what? That might be weekly ones, monthly ones, yearly ones. If it is yearly ones, the dimension might be changing once in 10 years. If it is weekly ones, the dimension table is getting the new values once in a while. Might or might not. Then how you are going to handle? You can create a package and you can create a SSAS package to load it from, but when to run is the major question. When to run that package is the major question. Because if you are running with the same information, what will happen? It will repeat the same thing. Let us see one example. Okay, I'll create a new package. I'll name it as a CD, slowly changing dimension. Okay, now I'll create one data flow task. Okay, then before that one, let us assume that employee table is having the employee information. Okay, oh sorry, it's small. Let us take employee. Is also small. Not a problem. Let us take this is employee table only. Okay, manager ID, employee ID, and event product is there. No, it doesn't have any values. Any table with the values? Yeah, that is too much values. Okay, let us take OLEDB destination. This is one table. I'm going to load this information into the product dimension. Okay, I'm going to load this information into the product dimension. Okay, that is exactly as, let me create one dimension. See, product is there. Same product, same columns are there. Okay, almost same columns are there. Now what I'm going to do, like if I'm loading the data into the OLEDB destination to product, means what? Okay, let me take the source as, what is the source? OLEDB source as what? Edit employee database. The table name is OLEDB destination. Okay, preview, I got some around 200 rows. Okay, columns, I'm selecting all. Then I'm loading these values into the destination. Okay, don't worry about the transformations in the middle. Okay, I might do the transformation, I might not do the transformation. Same employee, then I'm loading into the normal load into the product. Okay, then go for the mapping. Whatever is matched, automatically mapped. Still I have some problem. Product ID, inserting the values into the product ID. Okay, let us take the customer table here, because that is the AdventureWorks table. It is keep on giving us a problem. Yeah, we have 13 customers are there. Okay, customer ID, customer name, age, and address ID is there. Okay, we have 13 customers are there. Now what we are going to do, we are selecting all columns. Now I want to move this customer's information into the customer dimension. Take the OLEDB. Customer dimension preview, name, address ID, and start date and end date are there. Okay, two more extra columns are there here. Okay, let us take mapping. I can put it start date and end date. Let us leave it as null. Okay, then what I'll do, I'll just truncate the values. I'll make the table as empty. What is the table name? Customer dimension. Okay, now the table is empty. Now what I want to do is that I want to load the data from customer table to customer dimension. Okay, but the customer table, when you are going to add the new customers? Rarely. Okay, you are not going to add the new customers daily. Okay, if you are thinking if it is daily is there, you don't need to worry. Every day you can load this package, you can schedule this package. You don't. But your customers are adding rarely, once in a while. Okay, if your customers are adding daily, you don't need to worry. You can run this package daily. Okay, you can clean it up the table, truncate the table, and load the values. Truncate the table, but you are adding it rarely, and the changes are also happening rarely. The customer address, customer age, something is changes here happening rarely also. Then what you are going to do? If I am running this package continuously, what will happen? One time. Okay, 11 rows are added. Okay, if I am scheduling one more time, second day, how many rows will be there in the destination? 22 rows. Do you want the 22 rows here? Then what? How you are going to do that? I want to add only the new customer which are added in this one. Okay, that might be new customer. The customer might be some existing customers, age change, something is happened. Then what is the solution for this? Okay, I'm not talking about the regular dimension table. You can ask the questions. Oh, what will happen to all the dimension? Regular dimension, if it is getting the new data, okay, then I can truncate the table and I can load the data, or else what I can do is that I can put the flag and the date, last date, I can write the condition, load the data after this date. Okay, I can do that. But this customer table, whenever the dimension table is having the same information as table, and if it is not changing regularly, then you are going to do the separate scheduling apart from all the different packages. It will be a little difficult. Then you don't know when to schedule. Whenever the new customer added, you need to ask the ETL guy to, oh, can you run that package? For one customer, do we need to run the package? Then what I need to do? Comparing before loading. Comparing before loading. Then also, when to compare? Every time? Every time you want to compare before loading? Then what? What is the solution? Then here, you can have it. Then as an organization, this is a critical situation as an organization. First of all, okay, are you entering the customer's information daily, monthly, weekly? You need to fix your times. Okay, as an organization, this is not a ETL developer's level. Okay, organization has to think, okay, when the new customer information should be added into the historical system, because those are the people who want to do the analysis, no? They need to tell. Okay, they are also not telling that one. Okay, but when the changes are happening with the existing customer, for example, address, one of the customer's address is changing. Okay, when the customer is going to change the address, do you know? Okay, but if the address is changing, updating in the customer table, okay, I'll go to the customer table, I will update the address. Okay, I'll update my address. Okay, I'll update my address. Here is a foreign key, I'll update my address. Okay, then what? The updated address information should be there in the dimension table or not? For better analysis, it should be there. But when the customer is going to update it and when you want to load it, for that particular address update, you want to load entire thing? Then what happens if the address is not loaded into the data warehouse? The changed address is not loaded into the data warehouse. What happens? Is there any damage to the system? Is there any damage to the system? Are they going to miss any information? These type of questions, nobody will have any answers for that. Okay, depending upon the analysis. Okay, if I want to do the analysis on the customer's existing address, then it is needed. I want to do the analysis on the customer's information. I don't worry about the address. Then you don't need it. Then the organization has to decide what to do. Then they have to tell, okay, in this situation, the dimensions once they created, they should not change. Only they should allow the new values entered into the system. They should not change. Okay, that is called first type of slowly changing dimension, fixed attributes. Once you define the attribute, it should have the fixed values. Okay, now the next kind of slowly changing dimension is some people that, okay, if somebody want to change the addresses, change it. Okay, but what about the previous addresses? Forget about it. Whatever is the current address is the current address. Whatever is the current address is the current address. That is called changing attribute. Means what? Update the same slowly dimension table also with the existing thing. Just now I told you, we cannot update it. We cannot update the dimension tables. Just now I told. But in this situation, we can allow the dimension table to update its existing information. Okay? They can take the decision as the owner. As the owners, they can take the decisions. Forget about the previous address. Okay? Or somebody might take it, no man, you cannot update the existing values. Keep the existing values, and also I want the new address too. I want his previous address. I want the new address. What exactly the benefits of it? What happened, guys? Morning, everybody is feeling drowsy. Okay, get the coffee. Okay. What exactly the situation where this situation occur? For example, we are all employees of Cloudiva. Okay. Everybody is having. This section of the people are working with the sales department. Okay. And this section of the people are working in the recruiting or finance department, for example, or recruiting department. Okay. Different sales, or else international sales, domestic sales. Okay. Now everybody is working. Okay. Currently working. For example, what happened is in the year of 2012, in the month of May, Yogesh moved from international sales to domestic sales, whatever is the reason. Okay, somebody moved him or he moved himself, whatever it is, he moved from one department to another department. Okay, now when the management is calculating at the end of, in the beginning of 2013, they want to give the bonus to the, depending upon their performance. Now they are calculating the performance. Okay, now they are calculating the performance of it. Now, let us see how the performance will be done. Now, for all employees, what they did, whoever is reached the 100,000 sales goal, either it is domestic or international, okay, they are going to get the 30% bonus. They are going to get the 30% bonus. Means what? Whoever meets the 100%, 100,000 goal, 100,000 sales goal, individual person, then they are calculating. What happens? If they are calculating it for the entire 2012, does the Yogesh comes under 100,000 goal? Because he worked for the international sales for how many days? How many days? Because performance, when I am doing for individual performance, not department-wise performance. Okay, I am doing the department-wise performance. Now, in this department, who is the top? In this department, who is the top? I want to give the bonus to them. Then, when I am doing the analysis and calculating the performances of international sales, does the Yogesh comes under this? Because he worked only 5 months. He worked only for 5 months. But there, in the department, do you comes under? There also you work for 5 months. But combiningly the 5 months, 5 months there, 5 months we, you already crossed 200,000. But if I am calculating individually, do you comes under any selection? Then what will happen? Then what is the solution in this situation? What is the solution? No, they cannot do for only individual Yogesh. They do it for the 100,000 employees. Like the analysis will be done for all employees, not for individual employees. Think about big organizations. Okay? Even the management, the person who is doing the analysis, they don't know whether one person moved from one department to another department. How can they know? Then what will happen? What is the solution? What is the solution? Then if you are doing the performance analysis in the dimension table, this kind of a situation or dimension means what? You are not going to, every moving might happen, might not happen. No? These kind of situations are called slowly changing dimensions. If these changes are happening regularly, then they might design the dimension table in such a way that, okay, they will call it as department 1, department 2, primary department, secondary department, tertiary department. They will write the columns. If these situations are not happening daily, they don't know how to design the dimension table. Then what is the solution in this situation? Tell me generally. If you are the owner of the business, what you will do? Both the records. Then what? Keep the both the records means what? How can you design the dimension table to keep the both the records? Is it mandatory that one anybody? But throughout in 2012 nobody moved. Then what? What you are going to put that information?
Step up in the organization that included all the departments.
Go step up. Oh, we cannot ask the people to do the performance bonus in that way.
According to the dimension.
No.
Organization that included.
For one employee, you cannot change the performance bonus entire plan. That is planned for entire 3,000 employees, 20,000 employees, 100,000 employees. No, you cannot change it for one employee. Flag where? But table is designed. Table is designed. There is no flag column. Do I need to create again? But is it mandatory that every time it is going to happen? Another row where? I cannot repeat his information, no? His ID is primary key. Can I repeat his information?
Union.
Union means what? What union?
Two departments.
Two departments I need to do the union. But union, it will not come only his details. It will come along all the details. I cannot union the particular row. Then what? First of all, how can the management knows he moved from one department to another department, man? You're not thinking that. How can they know about it? And out of 100,000 employees, how can the people know about one person moved from? Only he has to go to the bosses. Okay, I moved from department. Can you do me this justice? Okay, how can the people who are doing the performance analysis, how do they know? Do they know? Anyway, they don't know. They're sitting on the system, just clicking the one button. It is calculating the performance bonus. It is giving the one Excel sheet with the result. Or else developing a report with the proper Excel sheets. How do they know? Okay, if this situation is happening, designing this one, then in this situation, the management can take three kind of different decisions. Okay, that you can call it as three types of. One is fixed attribute. They can tell no more department changes. Once one employee recruited for one department, he cannot change to any other department. Okay, then second decision. Okay, he can change to a department, but that day onwards, his record will be vanished from this older department. His record will be there in the newer department, whatever it is, month, middle of the year or the end of the year. That is called changed attribute. Some management might be wise. They might tell that one, okay, we will consider the old history information as well as current information. That is called historical attribute. Okay, there are three types of slowly changing dimensions. Remember guys, understand the concept here. Doing is not a big deal here, working on the slowly changing dimensions, but you should understand properly. What happened? It is not ending. Okay, there are three types of no. Okay, one is fixed attribute. And the second one is changing attribute. And third one is what? Historical attribute. Okay, then the management can take the distribution or okay, apply the slowly changing dimension type 1, type 2, type 3. If they are not talking about slowly changing dimension, you don't need to worry about the slowly changing dimensions. Okay, if they are talking about okay, no more changes in the source table to destination table, or forget about the changes, or historical information should be kept. Now, in this situation, let us apply. Like now here I'm loading the data into the source to destination. Okay, if I'm keep on loading, it will keep on increasing the records. Now let us see. Let us apply the slowly changing dimension. Remove the destination. Everybody just concentrate here. Now let us go back and truncate the table. Customer name. What is happens is now. Let us stay. Okay, we took the source, okay, from the customer table, but instead of taking the destination, take the transformation called slowly changing dimension. Okay, take the transformation called what? Slowly changing dimension. Now let us work on that slowly changing dimension. Now change, configure the slowly changing dimension. You will get the slowly changing dimension wizard. Okay, in the 3 different types. Now configure. Now already you selected the source. Now you selected the dimension or destination. What is the dimension table? Customer dimension. Now you got all the values. Then you need to map it. Address ID will go to the address ID, age will go to the age, customer ID will go to the customer. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Customer name will go to the customer name, and we have 2 extra columns, start date and end date. I'll explain you about that. Okay. Now here, but we need to have one key identity from the source table to the destination table to identify Yogesh. What is that? Is his name? Is his name? Age? Something I need to identify the Yogesh because I need to find out Yogesh information is changing. Okay? That identity column is called what? Business key column. So that identity column is what? Business. It should not be the primary key. Remember guys, it could not be the primary key. It could be any column, but that could be the one key identifier from the both the source and destination. It is not from all. Okay, it is not always possible that one source primary key should be the destination primary key. But in this situation is there, but it is not always possible. But we need to find out one column, it should be common from source and destination. What is that? Customer ID. Let us make it as business key. Okay, means what? I'm working on the based on business key column. Now, here when I'm calling it as a business key is a customer ID, but can I include the customer IDs more? Can I load the customer IDs here? Yes. Then, yes. Okay. Now, go to the next one. In this one, then, what type of you want to follow? Okay, you want to follow the fixed attribute, changing attribute, historical attribute. Which type you want to do? Let us select with the first one, fixed attribute. No more changes allows from the source to destination. Only new rows will be added. No changes with the existing values. Like first thing. No updates in the existing values. What happens if somebody changes? Don't load it. Okay? Don't load it. Let us see. Fixed attribute, dimension column and the change of address ID, fixed attribute. Age, fixed attribute. Customer name, fixed attribute. That's it. Customer ID we are using as a business key column, no? Okay, it won't change at all. Okay, now fixed attribute. I'm going with the fixed attribute. Let us go. Fail the transformation if at all any changed in the existing values. Okay, finish it. Automatically it will create some more transformations by the system. Okay, see, slowly changing dimension, one OLEDB command and insert into the destination. Automatically it added into the destinations. Okay, and OLEDB command means what? What is OLEDB command? It is a simple SQL query. But what is the difference between OLEDB command and execute SQL task? It is a simple SQL query only. OLEDB command here. What is the difference between here? OLEDB command works for the existing connection only inside the data flow. Means what? Inside the data flow means what? It will work. It will not ask you to connect it again. It will work on the existing connection only. Okay? It will never ask you for the connection because that is inside the data flow means what already database connection is there. It will work. But execute SQL command, it will ask you for the connection. Okay, but that is the difference between the OLEDB and then you can write what is the statement they are writing here. See, update statement. Okay, same value with same value. If they find out any difference here, it will throw the error. It will throw the error. Now, let us load the data. Eleven rows, 11 rows. Okay, destination. If I am running it again, what will happen? Eleven rows, but it didn't move anything because it didn't find any new rows. It didn't find any new rows. Okay, because it will check. Okay, any new rows are added or any new changes are happened. It's not. Okay. Now let us add some new rows into the source. Yogesh. Are you ready, 80? 18. Okay, address is 2. Now, let us load. How many rows will be moved here? Automatically, it will take the extra rows only. See, 1 row. Okay, we don't need to worry. We can schedule this package along with other packages. Okay, until it doesn't find the changes, it will not update the, means what, it will not load the new row into the dimension table. Do we need to worry when to run? We can schedule along with other packages. We can schedule along with the other packages. We don't need to worry of when to schedule, when to run. Let the changes happen anytime. Let the changes happen anytime. Okay, if somebody is trying to update the existing values, then what will happen? Somebody is putting that this address has 2. Okay, 4th John's address is 2. Okay, let us see what will happen. It will throw the error. Then we can configure the, what is that? Send, execute, send mail. Then I can find out there is a change happened. You can find out the C address, the error. See, slowly changing dimension, failed the error code. Okay, the transformation failed when the fixed attribute change is detected. Okay, when somebody want to change some value, that is the reason it failed. Means what? We don't need to worry. No more changes. If somebody want to do the changes also, they cannot do that. Okay, they cannot do that, and we don't need to worry about the analysis. Okay, then, but what happens? It's another decision. Okay, no more changes. Oh, changes might be happened, but he has to forget about his past. He has to forget about his past. Means what? Only the new values will be added. Then what do I need to do? Go to the slowly changing dimension, edit. Okay, same. Then here, address ID, we change the address ID, no? Make it to the changing attributes. And remaining 2 columns are fixed. Okay, means what? He can do the changes on address ID, but he cannot do the changes on address ID and customer name. Then go for the next. Then you have the another extra. See, change all matching records, including the outdated records. Okay, make it true. And fail the transformation if the detected are the fixed attribute. Then you have the fixed attribute, you have the changed attribute. Next, all columns should be affected. Then you have one more OLEDB command. Means what? To update it. One OLEDB command to check it. Another OLEDB command for what? One column we want to update it, no? One OLEDB command for updating. Okay, one OLEDB command for what? Checking whether the values are same or not. Okay, now if they are finding the difficulty in the other 2 columns, it will throw the error, new column. Now let us execute. How many rows moved? 1 row will get updated, nothing moved. Okay, how many times? But the new update is affected on the destination or not? Let us see. For John, we change the address, no? See John 2. What about John's previous address? Null. Nobody knows. Okay. Here is also, if I am adding the new one more record, that will affected in the destination. If I am adding the new record, 15, Sanjay is also 21. Okay. Now, when I'm loading the data, how many rows modes? But when if I'm making any changes in the names of Sanjay with Sanjay Patel, what will happen? It will throw the error. Okay, only I can make the changes in the address. Okay, only I can make the changes in the address. Okay, initially one is there, the one is moved. Let me close all these things. Okay, here I change with the address. Now let us check. Thirteen rows means what? One row added, 13 rows, and one change is affected, but no new row is. See, changing attribute update output one row. One row is updated. Okay, but no new row is added, but one row is updated. That is the information. Now go and check in the destination. Sanjay's address is updated, but what about Sanjay's previous address? If somebody want Sanjay's previous address also, how can we store? I want to know what was the Sanjay's previous address and what is the current address also. What is the purpose? Like Yogesh, the previous performance in the international sales, in the domestic sales. Okay, I want the history, but how can I do that? First of all, I need to know when Yogesh moved from one department to another department or not. What is that called? I need to know the date. Then I need to store the date. He says flag. You said flag, no? Means what? I need to store the date of that change happened. Means what? I need to store the old details with the old date. I need to change the new details with the new date. That is called when the Sanjay or Yogesh started with the sales department, international sales, and when he is ended with the international sales, and when the Yogesh started with the domestic sales and when he ended. That's what I need to know. Means what? I need a 2 dates. What are those 2 dates? Start date and end dates. Or else I can do within 1 date also, but that will be really difficult to find out which is the start date or end date. That is only the change date. Okay, I can only find out the change date. Either I can do, but I need a date column. But I need a what? Date column. The date column should be there in the dimension table. Okay, date column should be there in the dimension table, either one date column or multiple date column. If one date column is there, what kind of information we can store? Only the changed date. If the 2 dates are there, when it is started and when it is ended, I can store the 2. But which one is good? 2 dates, obviously it is going to be good, but if somebody can go with the 1 date also. Let us see. Okay, same one. Let us go to the slowly changing dimension and edit. Okay, same values. Now I have the 2 date columns are there, start date and end date. Okay, now which one you want to do? I want to change it with the address ID as a historical attribute. I need to know what was the previous address and I should know what is the current address. Next. Now here changing attribute is not there. Fail the transformation for remaining 2 fixed attributes. Now here it is asking, use a single column to store the current and expired records, or use the start and end dates for the current expired. Which one you want to use? Second. Either you can use the single column or you can use the start and end date. Which one I will use? The start and end date. I have the start date for start, end date for end. Then which date you want to take it? Which date? The date the changes actually happened, or the date you are moving the record? Which date you want to take it? But how do you know the changes actually happened? Until the ETL loads, you don't know. Then you have the option here. Either you want to take the system's time or container time or the creation of that package. Which one you want to take? Your wish. Okay, but you can take, let us take the system start time. Okay, system start time means when the system is up, running the package. Okay, or else container means what? The package might have the 20 different tasks. Okay, that slowly changing a dimension container start time only. Okay, now next. Now see the enable the interface support remaining columns. Now finish it. Now what will happen? It will add more transformations to it. Okay. Automatically, when you are adding the two more column, two more values means what? It will add the derived column attributes, transformation, see, derived column and union, like you said. Okay. Automatically, the system is added, whatever is needed. But am I doing any changes in the source and destination? No. Okay. According to the situation, I'm just doing. These things, like you said, we can do manually. But if nothing happening, when I'm configuring this is manually, what will happen? It will just do the, whenever it is changes is not happened also, it will run. Changes is happened also run. But only the benefit I'm going to get with the slowly changing dimension, only it will execute these changes only when the changes happen. Okay? Exactly, the performance of the system and everything. Okay, we don't need to worry. Okay, now see, one derived column and the whatever the derived column values is union all, because two columns are added and insert into the destination. Okay, now let us run it. If the changes are not happened, what will happen? No, it will do 13 rows to 13 rows first time. Okay, next. If I'm running one more time, nothing. Let us make one change. Let us make one change. Sanjay's address with the 3. I need to know, but previously Sanjay's address was 2. Currently the Sanjay's address was, we changed with the 3. Now, let us load the data. See, one row is effective. What actually happens? Let us see in the destination. Okay, I didn't remove the initial records. Okay, now here what happens is Sanjay. Let us take the Sanjay record. See, Sanjay address with the 2 is started on this particular date and time and ended on here. And Sanjay's address 3 started on new date. But it is still 3, there is no end date. And the remaining people's end date is also not there. Okay, then see the Sanjay's. Okay, address means what? I can get the Sanjay's previous address and I can get the Sanjay's current address also. Okay, but if previous address is ended on this date, okay, I can find out how many days Sanjay lived in 2 and how many days, because how many days Yogesh worked in international sales, how many days Yogesh worked in domestic sales, how much Yogesh contributed in the international sales, how much you may. I can do it. Okay, if I have this information like this, okay, like this is called slowly changing dimension. Then what are the three different types of? Why you want to? Why you want to create a compound primary key? No, it is not behaving. Okay, what it is doing, it is applying the end date. Whenever it find out the changes in the existing column, existing row, that date it is applying into the system. It is inserting that row card. Okay, end date. It is applying the end date whenever it find out any changes in the existing values. Okay, means what? It is checking with the previous values, and if it find out any changes, it is applying the end date there, and it is starting the new row with the new value.
So the end date of the previous record and start date of the new record
Will be same. Okay, will be same. Okay, or else if you are going with only one column, only this information will be stored in one. Only the changes happened on so and so date. But when started, when ended, you don't. Changes happened and so and so date will be there. This is called slowly changing dimension. Remember, guys, you cannot take the decision to apply the slowly changing dimensions. Okay, when the people are asking, how the people will ask you to use the slowly changing? Whenever you are going with the data mapping document, let us browse some data mapping documents. I told you, no, source and destination. Okay, see, data mapping document means what? Simply source table and the destination table information will be there. Column ID, category ID, oh sorry, it is different. I need to search for the database. I have it, but in another system I have it. Data mapping you can create for integration of the system also. Okay, here you can see mapping A. Okay, then source table or the file name is moving to the destination table and destination name, and the business rule is applied. Direct mapping means what? You don't need to change anything. Okay, and you can use that if employee department says, then load yes. If the department is packaging, then load yes. Means what? What you need to do for this purpose? You need to do some transformation. You need to do some transformation in the business rule. But some people will write like this: employee dimension, employee name. Okay, data type is there. Data type is text. If the data type is not matching, then what you need to do? Use the data conversion task. Okay, if the data type is matching, then you don't need to do. Length is there, comment is there. Here in the last, they will mention SCD column. Okay, if somebody want to apply the slowly changing dimension, they will add SCD. If they are leaving it as a null, you don't need to worry. If they are using it as a SCD applied, means what? One particular table on which column we need to apply the slowly changing dimension, they will write SCD 1, 2, or nothing. Okay, either some people call 1, 2, 3 or some people call 0, 1, 2. You don't need to worry. Just you need to work. Change the attribute. It is better to write fixed attribute, change the attribute, and historical attributes. Okay, go with the names, not with the numbers. Because some people will call 1, 2, 3 or 0, 1, 2. Okay, fixed attributes means what? No more changes, 0. Okay, 1 means what? Changing attributes. 2 means what? Historical attribute. Okay. Then this is actual data mapping document, simple Excel sheet. Okay, one side source, one side destination. You need to map which column is there. Then you need to have the business rule. Means what logic you want to apply. Okay, you want to add 1, 2 extra columns or load the only 50% of records or only first 1,000 records. Then what you need to do? Use the row percentage. Use the percentage sampling or row sampling. Okay, you can use that. Okay, now. Okay. Now here I want you guys to use the data flow task and complete one work for me. Okay, everybody. Okay. Do you guys have the AdventureWorks data warehouse in your everybody's computer? Everybody? Okay. I don't need to worry. Not AdventureWorks data warehouse. Okay. In the AdventureWorks LT, okay, just take down the question. AdventureWorks LT. Okay. Take the customer information and organize the customer information in the Excel sheet and use each sheet for each state's customers. I want you to take the customer information from the AdventureWorks LT. Okay. Then organize the information. Okay. And that customer information, load it into the Excel sheet. And I want each sheet with the each different state. State.
There are 50 sheets. Or do you want to count the 4 sheets?
Whatever. First of all, you need to find out how many states are there. And I'm asking the question. You are letting me give you the answer again. Okay. They told you 50. Okay. I want you to move it into the different sheets. 50 or how many available. Okay. That is one task. Okay. Take down the next task. Okay. You have the AdventureWorks LT and AdventureWorks 2008 R2. Both are there, no? Okay. List out the common products available in AdventureWorks 2002, 2008 R2 and LT. Products available in AdventureWorks 2008 R2 and AdventureWorks LT. In Excel sheet or text, anywhere. Common products available in 2008 R2 and AdventureWorks LT. Don't ask me how to find out common product again. Okay? Common products. Means what? You need to concentrate on the product table of AdventureWorks LT and product table of. Then the common thing should be maintained and go with the product name only. Okay? Good question. Okay? Find out the 100% match and the similarity matches also. Okay? Indirectly I gave the answer. What to do? Okay, I want you guys to do the 2 different packages. Okay, Lina, you got the question?
Can you repeat the second question one more time?
Yeah. Okay. The second question is, consider AdventureWorks LT Works LT and AdventureWorks AdventureWorks 2008 R2. Okay, you can go with the LT 2008 R2 too. Okay, whatever it is, 2008 R2. I want you to list out the common products with their name. List the common product either in the Excel file or in the text file, because some people might get the error in the Excel connecting. Okay, I don't need to spend the time on that one. Okay, because that is a system problem. Okay, now either you can list out in the Excel file or in the list out in the text file, or you can list out in the table also, whatever your wish. Okay, list the common products from two different databases. Common products with their name. With their name. Okay, common products with their name. Okay, and create a sample of slowly changing dimension with your own tables. Yes. Three, yes. Create a sample of slowly changing dimension. You went through, no? Okay, you can come and check my system too, but don't copy the existing table. Sample of slowly changing dimension. Okay? Create a source table, create a destination table. Okay, you guys can also try. People are in the art list. Try with the slowly changing dimension sample. Okay? Okay, I want you to finish today only. Okay? Simple, all three are the simple tasks. First task is to take the customer information from the AdventureWorks LT and distribute depending upon their states. Okay? I want every customer, every state's customer in the each individual sheet of the Excel. If you are getting the problem in the Excel, each individual text file. Okay? Each individual text file. Okay? If somebody is getting the problem in connecting the Excel file in your version or 64-bit, 32-bit, okay, don't worry, you can put it on the text files. Okay, and the second is compare the product table of AdventureWorks 2008 R2 and AdventureWorks LT product table. List out the common products. List out the common products. Okay. And third, create a sample of slowly changing dimension. I want everybody to do it. Okay. Then we can go ahead for the next session called SQL Server analysis. I want to do it, but I'm not sure you